Whoa!
Hey, man.
Hey,
All right.
it's pedal pushers time.
It's pedal pushers. We're monthly now.
We're doing our best. We did our best.
I mean, it's we're trying. We got a lot to do.
It's been it's been a busy.
Don't.
I'm sorry.
Don't.
You can't
Don't.
You can't help.
Yes.
Your mind goes to a place when you hear those two words.
Yes.
But we've had a busy couple
we've
weeks
had
or
a
months.
busy
or so.
2024.
Yes, we have.
And we've got new stuff we're working on, new releases, big, giant, hairy projects.
Whoa.
just
Yeah, well,
amazing.
that's true.
It is. We
Yeah.
got big projects on them.
Big Jerry. But anyway, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. Do the whole thing. Give us a thumbs up. I don't know what they do on Spotify.
Can you do anything? You just rate us?
I don't
Review
know.
us?
Just heart it or add it to your. Just add this to your liked songs.
Yes.
And just listen to it
Just repeat it. When you sleep,
every
just
time.
put it on silent, but just
There's an
play
idea.
it. Just keep playing it.
Just never turning us off. But Matthew,
You always turn me on.
whoa. That's building off that conversation we had earlier.
And the people get what they want.
That's right.
All right. What's up, man?
So how you doing? You got a
doing
new
great.
guitar.
I did. I got my second Castadosa, a Concher's baritone.
You got a double dosa.
I got a double dosa, which is ridiculous that I own two Castadosas.
What
but
does Castadosa mean? Is it?
It's part of the entire family's names.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's Carlos and Stephanie and what are the kids' names? Dorian and what's the other part? It's like well, it's the kids too, right? So
Okay.
it's all their names combined for a new word. Castadosa.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It sounds like
A
a
name.
real word.
yeah.
I mean, it is a real word because now but it sounds like because I don't know every language. It sounds like something
Yes.
that was not made up specifically for the name of.
Yes, but that's what that is. Very cool.
Cool, and you love it.
I absolutely love it. It's an inspiration machine, as I
is.
like to say. It was fun sitting down and explaining to my wife like what it did.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, why is this thing special? Not that she wanted to like
what's it do?
justify it, but like what makes it different. And it was fun to say,
What makes it do?
kind of what it do, what it make it do. But just playing it and just hearing the differences of a regular guitar and like the way you play it differently and all the sounds that you can make, gets me to play cleaner because I don't play clean that much. But playing clean it sounds awesome, and so really enjoy that.
There is one problem though.
What?
Now you need a really loud, clean, bass heavy amp.
Yes, I need. I was talking to Carlos about it because he called me up and wanted to know if I liked the guitar and what I thought about it. And
They talk.
we talk. And he said I need a 115. He's like, you got to have something with a 115. That's we got a 115 back there.
We got the two-up.
I have not plugged it in yet because I think that I don't want to.
I know
because I just spent the money on the guitar.
You crank the reverb and the trim on the vintage deluxe Turok.
Oh, I got the Joey back here. I mean, gosh,
oh yeah.
talk about a guitar amp that's set up for something like that.
I know that's really your guitar is the most Joey like guitar in the whole arsenal here at Mythos.
And
HQ.
I tend to do more of like doom metal stuff with it, and that's kind of what I like. That's why I got it. But I also wanted something that's just gonna really like playing like on the neck pickup with chorus. Because it sounds like it sounds kind of like a bass, and so it's very cool.
We're getting a little bit off the rails, or at least we're about to with the thing that I want to say, which is I heard you say doom metal.
Yeah.
And I interpreted it as dude metal.
I mean, that's a thing too, right?
What's dude metal?
I don't know. What would you say? What genre? Dude metal?
Dude metal. What band is dude metal?
It kind of sounds like what you might call like butt rock.
Yeah, kind of like
dude metal.
Dude metal. Yeah, okay.
Butt rock, dude metal.
Sure.
It feels like kind of the same.
Those seem synonymous with each other.
Yeah. But very happy. What about you? I'm trying to remember the last time we did the show. if what you've got since then. I know you got something. Is it in the shot?
No,
or did you move it?
It's moved.
We haven't announced this.
No.
Well, we haven't announced. You bought another guitar.
Yeah.
Because you have an insatiable love
I
for
do.
the gear. You do.
I've been getting these.
What? Oh, more screamers.
So for those listening, I got the KHDK.
I love this. It's my favorite part of the show.
There it is. One of the Ghoul Screamers, which, if you don't know, this is like a...
Too much pressure to get it right. There's no real fizz on these liquid deaths.
But I got one of the big Ghoul Screamers that has 5 little toggle switches.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then I got the mini one, the Ghoul Junior.
Ghoul Junior.
And this one, I really like this one.
It sounds good.
It does sound good. It sounds really good. It's very, it's not just a tube screamer. I don't know what they did specifically, but
what sauce is in there?
yeah, but you know, this is Kirk Hammett's
It's fun.
guitar company, and so, or pedal company, rather.
Yes.
But I got that, and there's always a steady stable of things. We finally got all the cables to do my my pedal board.
Yeah, mine's been done for a while now.
So I've got to like measure out and start making the cables. I was gonna have them made for me, but I started adding up how much it was gonna cost.
Ooh.
Even if I got the friend discount, it was still gonna be like a pretty substantial bill.
It wasn't cheap.
So we
bought all
just
mine.
decided.
Yeah.
But like you didn't have to like solder
Nope,
yours.
I did not.
Mine's gonna
It would be, yes.
take a lot of work because I want them to be straight to right angle.
Oh,
And
yeah,
no
right,
one makes straight to right angle
like prefab stuff.
the length. Well, some people do, but the length that
the
I
length that
need
you want.
is going to be the kicker. So, but that's not what we're here for today. We got something else.
I mean, you know, the people are here to hear us yammer. We just happen to we have to come up with a topic, but I think we just talk about whatever. But we do have something I think is pretty interesting.
So why don't you set this one up for us?
Okay, so our good buddy Slash.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Friend of the show.
Slash. You ever talked to Slash before?
No, have you?
No, I have not.
Oh.
I didn't know if he came into Carter or anything like that.
There were times where we like his people called to see if it would be okay if he came. And we're like, yeah, sure. And then he never came
Got it.
because he's a busy dude, you know.
He is. He's got his new blues album that just came out,
Orgy of the Damned.
which is, you know,
Have you listened to it?
no.
I listened to it.
I mean, a select songs as they got released, like singles, and I was like, you know, I listened to the Billy one, but I haven't like played it all the way through.
yeah, there's some really cool moments, and all in all, I enjoy it. But I think it's the only, if I was going to have any sort of constructive criticism, and this is true across most things in the modern blues camp,
Okay.
they sound too new. The records need to sound lower fidelity to
Make it sound worse.
Yeah. I mean,
And
like
it'll sound better.
Yeah, I think so because it feels so too clean and
polished.
crystalline. Not crystalline, but like, you know, it's a little. It's got too much sheen on it. It needs to put some Vaseline on the lens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, you got to hide those land speeder wheels. You know, if you watch
Like
any
you do.
Industrial Light and Magic behind the scenes stuff.
So Slash is doing the rounds, right? A lot of interviews all over the place. Has another $15,000 Gibson 335. 335, right? Or is it 355?
It's a 335.
335. And he was, you know, giving out some quotes, and I thought he gave a real juicy one about, you know, modern guitar playing. So I want to read it in full.
Okay.
Dramatically. Like Slash. I don't know. Slash doesn't really have...
Slash does dramatic reading.
He says, a lot of kids that are doing rock and roll on their own now, away from the record companies and away from all the bullshit that was going on in the 90s and in the first decade of the millennium. So, you know, that's true. They're creating their own music for themselves, he explains, adding that their focus on artistry over material success is what will leave a revival of the genre. Okay. Here's the money quote. No one's trying to make money from it. No one's trying to get a big record deal. No one's ambitions are limos and hot chicks. It's all about the music, and it's a really important because I think that's what's going to bring the rock scene back around. And that rock scene will always be there. Anyway, but so that's sort of cool. Sorry, I had to read it. It's hard because like when it's a quote that's off the cuff, trying to read it. But I thought this was an interesting quote because this is something that gets memed a lot, I think, nowadays. I think I've even talked about it on the show before, the idea of like what it was like to make music and be a rock star in the 80s, and the picture of the person in those memes usually looks like somebody like Slash.
Yeah.
And then now it's the nerd sitting at his computer with his guitar.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that a modern, sort of like a guy who's still around, who's modern, who's still releasing music, who's still selling gear, but was a part of that like sort of classic rock star era, is sort of cool with what's happening in modern music.
Yeah.
Or at least is understanding and thinks that that's actually going to be a good thing to bring rock back. You know, so let's talk about it.
Yeah,
let's break it down.
Before we get into it, I love that.
Did I read that okay?
You're great.
Oh,
I love that anyway, but so that's sort of cool. One time I did an interview with, it might have been with Guitar Magazine about the first burst.
Yeah.
And I was just talking.
Yeah.
And I thought they're going to paraphrase what I said.
No, they just put
they wrote it verbatim, and it's just like the most broken English.
I know.
Like, so why did they do that? Don't do that.
I could me not speak good, and I had to try to read that.
All guitar, neck, play, frets. Okay.
But the idea, what he's saying is that like young guitar players that are coming up, the idea of becoming a rock star is not a viable thing. Mm-hmm. They're not doing it for that reason because it doesn't exist.
Right.
So now they're playing for themselves. They're playing for the music. They're playing for the artistry of guitar. And that is changing the kind of players that we're getting. And that also, of course, will change the industry, which is why I'm interested in it. Mm-hmm. Because not only I'm a guitar player, but I also run a business.
Yes.
And I think this is an interesting shift that we're all sort of dealing with in real time.
Yeah. It's interesting because, looking at a guy like Slash, like he grew up in the heyday of rock and roll and having rock stars as perceived as these gods in the industry and these icons. And while I think that was true for us growing up, I don't know. I mean, that's not to say that all these guys have gone away, but I feel like them being part of the mainstream, part of just the zeitgeist of musicdom is gone away. So no one has the same sort of ambition to kind of reach that level, or they don't have that bar is not, its bar is set in a different way.
Yeah, because you don't see it anymore. Like when we were growing up, I remember you're watching the music videos and you see Paradise City and you see them playing these big stadiums. Yeah, you see Wherever I May Roam. Or you see Metallica playing in Russia, Harvester of Sorrow, and you see a million Russian kids
live at Donington.
All that stuff, and you're like, this is incredible. Like that's the job that I want. That's what I want to do. I want to do and be this like larger than life person. Mm-hmm. And you're not seeing guitar in that context nearly as much or at all anymore.
Not really.
No. And there's obviously big shows that are happening in stadiums worldwide with guitar players, but they're not the star.
No,
they're the sidemen.
Or if those things are happening, it's the old guard.
Of course,
it's not that necessarily the new guy.
It's still Metallica. It's still Guns N' Roses. It's still all the old bands, So
old people music,
like us. So, do you agree? Do you agree that this is like? I mean, I think it's pretty much undeniable that this is what's happening. So I don't think what he said was controversial.
Yeah, sex and drugs are still cool, but
I mean, yes, that's still the goal.
No, I don't think. I agree. I mean, I don't think because since they didn't have that as sort of this like blueprint to follow, so to speak.
Yeah.
Then they're just doing it because they love making music, but it's totally shifted. Like rock and roll is not. I don't like what is rock and roll anymore. I don't even know. Like modern rock bands. Like what are modern rock?
Well,
bands?
I think that is the thing that always sort of throws me off. Is I thought there was always a natural progression of the sound, and you would go through all the different phases, and then you'd be like, okay, here's the eras, and bands sound like this, and then they sound like this, and they sound like this, and then there's obviously concurrent styles, but then things would morph and change, and now I don't. It's kind of just a mess because you got all the old bands still making music and there's new bands. And I think with the internet and the globalization of all that, we see everything from anywhere at all times. There, you don't see those sort of like kind of trends and like things kind of coalesce like you would see punk rock or grunge or hair metal or something like that. It's like, it's just all of it at once. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing dominant in that regard.
I mean, do you think the thing that killed it more than anything was streaming?
100 million %.
Yeah.
Like I have my own, I like my own theories. I think I'm,
smartest guy in the room.
It's not like the smartest guy in the room. It's not that I think that.
I'm
not. It's not that I think I'm the smartest guy in the room. I just have a fully fleshed out take on everything.
I love
that.
I love making my brother-in-laws and my father-in-law are very intelligent.
Uh-huh.
And I love making jokes that I'm the smartest guy in the room with them because they're just like,
that's not true.
it runs all over them.
I love it.
And I can't help myself.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I'm the smartest. I just have a take on everything.
Well, yeah.
But I would say that, like, I think it's 1954 to 2004. Rock Around the Clock to American Idiot. I think American Idiot was like the last rock and roll record.
That was 2004?
Mm-hmm. That was 2004.
When did Warning come out? All thrown off.
I don't remember. But that was the last one that was like, had the zeitgeist, right? That was a rock and roll album. Now there's definitely bands that hit after that had some guitar stuff. But I really think that was the last like really big. And I like the convenience of the 50 years. So
Of like a rock record.
the rock and roll era where it's like, and that was right when iTunes came out. So it's very convenient for my argument.
Sure.
That it was like that. But I think that when you start fracturing the subgenres of rock and roll, nothing gets popular enough by enough people that can push it all the way to the top. So you got all these different bands and all these different genres, and everybody can just listen to whatever they want to, and it just sort of fractures the market. And then the pop stuff, which can capture a larger market because it's a little more homogenized, that can be the stuff that still goes all the way to the top.
Right. Yeah.
That's like a simplified version of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I agree with that.
But there's still tons of guitar being played, right?
Somehow,
somewhere, guitar is still happening.
guitar's still cool.
It is. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I think about. I love it. But I think
Destiny, and then maybe
yes. My children, guitar,
children,
Destiny.
Wife, Destiny, guitar.
I didn't even mention her because she's just omnipresent in all of that.
I know, but that's how that's
Yes.
the usual hierarchy.
Yes.
Because if you were going to run into a burning building,
Who am I grabbing first?
you grab the kids first.
Yes.
Because she would say, "Get the kids,"
Yes.
or she'd say, "You stay in here and I'm leaving."
Dang.
You have a really great life insurance policy.
I do. But the part that I think is interesting is that Slash thinks that this is what will help bring rock and roll back.
No,
I don't agree with that at all.
I disagree. I don't think
That's the part I disagree with.
I don't think rock and roll as I mean, like, I don't know what standard is rock and roll now. Like what band would be considered like the quintessential modern rock band? I mean, I know there have to be some there, but I'm talking about bands that have come into popularity in the last like 10-ish years.
That are like
Big.
What does big mean?
Like,
I always think that
selling out tours and or at least being I don't know. Like it's like so hard because rock bands don't do that anymore. But I don't think
my again, I have my take on everything. It was always like, are they going to get invited to be the token rock band at the Grammys? Because now that rock and roll is sort of not as popular, you get one slot.
Or they headlining a festival, like that sort of.
But it's all old bands. It's just No Doubt reuniting, and then they get to headline Coachella.
Blink-182.
Yeah, which is great that they're all coming back and we can go to those things. But it's like, who's like the newest band that can still do that? I don't know.
That's a rock band. I don't.
Ooh.
I don't know. It's so hard.
Rock and roll.
And maybe this is just showing our age and how unplugged we are from.
That is true.
The rock scene. And please, in the comment section, let us know what's a good modern rock band. And I'm not talking like Raconteurs. That shit's old now. Like
Greta Van Fleet.
I mean, like
they get pretty high up there on the bills.
Yeah, I mean, like I actually like I was really. Their last record, whatever, kind of turned around for me on them. I thought they were fine before, but they kind of pushed away from being more Zeppelin-esque and into a different direction. I like it more. But I mean, like, I guess that. Yeah. But it somehow that doesn't.
But they're
feel
not
new.
headlining any like huge festivals, right?
Not that I'm aware of. But I mean, they're a good band.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the fact that, I mean, what he said about it's just these guys making music for the love of music. And doing it in their bedrooms.
Yeah, art's for art's sake, that kind of thing.
And that's totally viable, but I think all that's doing is just, in a way, feeding the algorithm on Spotify and being connected with other artists you like, and you can find a footing and probably a decent path to success in that, but will that ever amount to just the normal average Joe being like, oh, I've heard this song. Probably not.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, I think that like when we talk about, what happened to the Rockstar and then what replaced it, I mean, there's obviously plenty of like artists that are aspirational for people when it comes to wanting to do that so they can get laid and get drugs, right? Plenty of artists, right?
Right,
They're just
sure.
not rock bands anymore, but they kind of have the same edge to it, like somebody like Post Malone or somebody like that. If anybody listening knows who Post Malone is.
Oh, well, surely they know.
But that's like, and he has a song called Rockstar, but he's not traditional like rock and roller in any sense, but he definitely
Got
embodies
face tattoos, man.
but he does, but he's not playing, and he plays guitar, and I know he's done lots of stuff, but like that's the closest thing we have to something like that.
Yeah.
And it's mostly like there's a lot of like obviously rap and hip hop artists that are more, that's the whole lifestyle for a lot of that genre of music. Is that something like,
It's interesting that
aspirational sort of like, I want to be those guys, like that's been the dominant force in music for a long time when it comes to that shift on, it went from, to that stuff.
And it's interesting how hip hop has like transcended, into mainstream culture, and still it has that sort of. Maybe not as much as it used to, like the danger aspect of it, and like.
I think that's finally starting to wear off.
Yeah, I think so too. But it does feel like that sort of image you have to portray yourself. Like it feels like it is starting to wane and become, and as things become more popular, they become more normal.
What it becomes is there's more avenues to express yourself in the genre versus like kind of one way of doing things.
Right.
And that's the bigger you get, that's the way it is. But I think what I'm more interested in is not replacing it on that level, because I think we kind of know where that went. Like, who do the kids want to be?
Yeah.
But what's replaced it as rock and roll guitar bands that are influential and popular, but not mainstream rock stars, right? That's what's interesting to me. Like, who are the people that listen to, what does everybody listen to that's not on that level, but are still influential and cool and are getting people to pick up and play the guitar? Like, who is that?
I think it's all the smaller.
I'm asking them because we need to know, because I want to send them pedals. That's a question that you and I ask ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like, who are the people?
Josh Scott's talking to me.
Well, there you go, Mr. Fancy. Ask Josh.
Yeah, Josh would know.
Josh would definitely know.
I think that.
So who are those people?
I don't think that it's anyone popular. I think that, like popular in the global scale of popularity. I think it's just we have so many more smaller artists who are inspiring people to play, like Josh Smith, Joey Landreth, all these guys who are kind of keeping that flame alive and are incredible. They're finding different pockets and groups of people to inspire them. And I think that is probably the more dominant thing.
And we always had those guys, because you could listen to, Robin Ford, and you could listen to David Grissom, and you listen to all those guys in the 80s, even though they weren't huge stars like the other guys. But then we're kind of like, we only have those guys now.
Right.
Everybody else, all the top guys went away, and then that level of guy is still around.
Yeah.
Because they can still tour, they can still put out records, but they're not, But is that enough to keep this industry going?
I don't know.
Again, please tell us, because this is our job.
I think that it's interesting because we're moving into your second point here, which is, can we sell gear?
Well, that was called
Rockstar.
a smooth transition.
Look
Zach.
at you. I know.
I've been doing this for a little while. Even though
crossfade of podcasting.
I think I need to read that opening quote again. I did really poorly. I'm just
you're great.
It's like kind of. I feel like we need to take two of that.
It's one of those things where, when you're talking to the camera, like I just paused for a second and thought. In my brain, it felt like I
paused for like a minute.
And in reality, it was like maybe a second. So. Was totally fine. He did great.
I'm all right.
He did great. Everyone leave a comment about how great Matthew did.
Okay. I think I look nice today.
You look very nice.
Thank you.
You got your Mythos shirt, your Joyland hat, your beard.
I'm Mr. Nashville.
Your watch, your tattoos.
It's a uniform. This is a stock Nashville old guy.
Yeah,
we all look like this.
Yeah, you meet people out and they say, I think I've seen you before. It's like, no, you've just seen someone.
I joke about it. It's like, this is just like, I got nothing, man. There's nothing unique about me at all.
There was a guy that lived in my apartment when I first moved to town that looked exactly like me.
Yeah.
Like he looked like me.
Like Time Cop?
Like one time Morgan
like
thought
maybe
it was me.
Yeah.
And it
You walk up and give him a little butt squeeze.
yeah. Sup, babe?
What's up, hon?
No, anyway. But can we sell gear without Rockstars?
Yeah.
I think that we forever will be able to sell gear, but I do think we're going to see, and I think we're seeing it right now. I think we're seeing a shift in the industry. That is, I think it's going to be, and I've been talking about this for a while. I think the future of the maker space in the guitar world, the pedal builders, the small amp builders, the small guitar makers, I think you really have to find your footing, because all of this is so incumbent upon you finding the players at home and not the rock stars, because honestly, like, you get the right person on Instagram to take a good picture and share it, it could be seen by more people than an even average guitar player that shares it.
Yeah.
Potentially. So
yeah, the marketing is completely kind of skewed in that way, whereas before it was vastly important to get your gear into the hands of the people that were influential, that were playing, touring, all that stuff, and then it's not as much anymore.
No, and I
sell gear.
And I think that this is, I mean, we saw with YouTube becoming more and more prevalent years ago. I mean, this was, geez, when did Pro Guitar Shop really start? 20 years ago almost, or 15 years ago?
I started watching Pro Guitar Shop videos in like 2011 that I can remember.
So, 12-ish years ago, right?
Like that'd be 13.
Okay, 12-ish.
Somewhere between 10 and 15.
Yeah. That, like, we started seeing the rise of the demoer, and that really sort of set the standard for how people learned about things. Yeah. And even that, I feel like, has totally waned in the past couple of years. And we've talked about this a bunch. Like, how do you find out about new gear? Who do you want to watch? Who do you want to see? And I feel like a lot of that older stuff, despite those guys being great and making really high quality stuff and being incredible players, it doesn't drive the needle like it used to.
What is it then?
I think it's all about the companies.
So I mean, that's what we're banking on, right?
Well,
these lovable goofballs selling gear on their own, not worrying about anything.
I mean, right? Isn't that kind of what it's all about? Like, I feel like the thing that, because this is something that Rhett always kind of drove home with me, is that when you're approaching YouTube, it's less about what you're talking about and more about the story you're trying to tell. As long as you can tell a good story, you can make a video about anything. You just have to tell a good story.
I agree with that.
And I think with most gear companies, the gear has to be good. And let's face it, most gear is pretty good.
Yes.
But if you can have the connection with the people, that almost supersedes hype or tone or whatever, because people want to be part of the family, that is building these things and running the company. And so I don't know. I feel like that is where all of us are going to have to lean.
But I think we've done that on purpose. That's our entire marketing style, because a lot of it is that like, with the sort of not the lack of like high-end players, but it's like you can't wait for that to happen. There's only a few people that kind of are up here as far as gear, people that you can get your gear to, and suddenly it's going to change the fortune of your company. Yeah,
like, how do you?
So if you can't do that, then you have to bet on yourself, and you have to do everything that you can without worrying about anything else. And that the best way to do that is to tell your story, like you said.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what we tried to do,
and try to connect with people in an honest way. Yeah, because people can smell if you're not being like truthful.
So then it's sort of, to get to Slash's point, now we're not necessarily worrying about finding these guys or gals to play the gear. We're trying to reach them because they're the artists, and that's you guys.
Yeah.
That's everybody that's making, because all of us are now, making music at home, or, still gigging and trying to make it work. And we're all in that same pool. And it's like, we're just trying to reach just anybody that's playing guitar for the love of it. That's it.
And I like this point. Can we just sell the past forever?
That is a big part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, look at the car industry.
Yep.
It's built off nostalgia.
Yeah.
And that feeling of connection to an icon, like, you know, the Mustang still sells. There's an electric version of it that is appealing
the designs
to new
get
audience.
a little more modern than guitars do.
Well, they do, yeah. I mean, like, imagine Ford, and I think Joe Bonamassa said something about this, still making a Model T, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's essentially what Fender and Gibson are doing.
right. And like, if they did that, somebody would buy it.
Yeah. But I think the interesting part of that quote is they've clearly made a better car, right, than the Model T. But if they clearly made a better guitar than the Strat and the Tele and the Les Paul,
the community won't let them.
They've tried. They've tried to make it better,
right?
But they no one will let them.
I know.
That's a whole nother topic.
It is, and it's interesting. You know, I think that. Oh man, yeah, that is a whole nother.
But
topic.
I think that I'm going to jump to another point here. That's a little far. That kind of comes to the entire crux of this, which is the industry shrinking?
Yes.
Is the entire point of this where the industry is getting smaller? There's no more rock stars. It's just artists. Everybody out there just trying to make music, using all the tools that they have.
Artists and hobbyists.
Everybody can. I think if you play guitar, you're a musician. You know what I mean? Are you trying to make money off of it? Okay. But point being is that, like, if we're not all trying to be AC/DC anymore.
No,
We're not trying to be Bon Jovi. Right? We were talking about Bon Jovi earlier. He's got a new bar in Nashville. Every single bar in Nashville is now owned by a celebrity musical artist.
or named after someone like Roberts or Tootsie.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But if the industry has shrunk down now, then part of the reality of that is that, like, none of us are really doing it for the money. The artists or the builders.
I mean, trying to do it for the money.
But I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for a shitload of money. Favorite quote of all time. But no, it's like, but the highs, like, of trying to, if the industry's getting smaller and we're not trying to work with these big rock stars because they don't exist anymore, how big can we even get?
Right. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like sort of like the ambitions of all that. We just want to make a good living, make a good product, and not have to go to the doorknob factory.
Right. Or become a doorknob factory.
Yes.
How do you talk about that at, like, you know, the local get together with all the parents? So what do you do? Oh, I make doorknobs. That's really lame.
But it's like, you know, everybody gets into all of this stuff for the excitement and this. And
there might be more money in doorknobs. We should look at
we might be the wrong place.
Get a milling
what
machine.
do you think about that? When you started Mythos, what was your goal to, like, be Boss or Electro Harmonics? Or,
oh yeah, I want an island in Fiji and my own private yacht.
But now we're just doing it for the love of the art.
No, I never thought when I started that I would have employees. And for a long time, I didn't want any employees. I said...
Still sort of. Most mornings he comes in and goes like,
I like being here by myself. It's kind of nice. It's private.
You don't want me around, boss?
Hey, guys, I'm here. It's 8:05. I'm hungry.
I've been here like 8:02 most days.
No, you've been great.
I've been, like... pre 8 o'clock sometimes.
Just pushing those girls like, get in there.
7:59, baby.
But
Starving.
But no, I never thought it would reach this scale. But there's something about it. It's like, you know, you kind of you build up this machine to where it's operating at a certain level, and you want to keep pushing forward. And it's not about necessarily saying, oh, you know, I want to be a multimillionaire. It's about, like, I want to, now that I have employees, I want to take better care of those people. And I want to offer more stuff for you guys and maybe for the next person and you know, whoever we bring on. And you can't do that if you don't grow. And so sometimes in this industry, and everybody I talk to, and I think this is probably true for all of the guitar space and gear space and in music, probably. Oftentimes you just feel like you're treading water and your head's bobbing and you're just trying to push forward against the current. And it's a hard thing. I never thought it would I thought there'd be slow incremental growth, but COVID kind of, like, changed everything.
Yeah, it did.
And we're still, I think we've normalized now.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's not, the new normal is not what we had all hoped it would have been.
Yeah. And I think I bring that up because I think if you're an artist today and you're trying to start out and you're like, all right, I got my guitar and I'm, 18 years old and I'm writing songs and I want to like be in a rock and roll band and I want to put out music. Like, I think the goal is to like just never have to get a real job, not make a lot of money, not, do all the crazy things that the rock stars used to do. I think that kind of has to be the goal is to like, well, I'm not going to go sell insurance. I'm just going to go and like, can I make a living playing music and recording music? And is that it? Is that the dream now? Just being able to do that. And like, is that, are we cool with that? Is that it now? And like, oh, well, you're in a band and you guys make money and you don't have a job when you get home, like,
right?
Or whatever, right? Like you just get far enough to where you can.
I think you got to be doing pretty well for that to be the case.
I know it's always been that way, right?
Yeah.
But now it seems like to me, it's like that used to be a loftier goal, and now that's gone.
Yeah.
It's just, can I record music? Can I release it? Can I go on tour and not have to work at KFC when I get back?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Unless you really like Yum brands, and why not?
I'm a big Diet Mountain Dew Baja Blast person, so I do love my Yum.
Mix a little starry in there.
Yeah, I do. I put a little starry at the end.
Yeah, I like when Matthew doesn't know that I've got his drink cup at lunch,
so
and then
gross.
I make drinks for him.
It's so gross. Boy, gross. The last one you made was nasty.
Real bad.
It was a mango tea or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Okay, so our industry, like, it's gonna burn out like the sun.
Oh well,
One day.
I mean, inevitably, everything will burn out, right? Yeah. Guitar will go away, and we'll just.
Not in our lifetime though, so we're good.
Oh no, yeah, this is This is ways away. After we've chopped down all the trees.
You're growing them back.
Yeah.
They're growing them back.
Only to chop them down again.
All right. So what have we learned today? What have we decided today? Just don't make doorknobs and we're cool?
Yeah.
Am I forcing that thought upon you, or are you still like, I know what you're saying about growth and wanting to take care of things, but I still think that falls under that category of just like, we're not talking about getting you a Bugatti, right?
Well, no.
What we're talking about is sustaining the business to where you can take care of your family and friends.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately what we all want. But it's interesting how much we like. I think at least I forget.
Yeah.
How tied success in the maker space, in the builder space, is tied to the popularity of
the thing.
A pretty antiquated machine.
Honestly, that's probably the better headline and the better like starting topic for this is that exact fact. And I'm glad that you got there, because it's something I thought about a lot. Is that like you see a lot of this from what like Fender does, with all of their like products that they have to try to get people to learn how to play guitar and all this stuff. Is that like you got to create customers,
right?
Is the industry good at creating customers? Because that's like, how do we do that? How do we create customers? Because it's like, that's where that starts at that point where like, when do those people decide they want to play guitar?
Yeah.
And how does that happen now without that sort of like visibility of the guitarist?
There has to be a huge portion of people that, like for me, I remember I'd always wanted to play guitar because I always loved guitar centric music. And then I saw a guy play at school. I was like, damn, that's so cool. I have to get a guitar.
Yeah.
And I think now YouTube is that thing, or Instagram, social media is that thing that, like, I mean, let's face it, you search anything and it's going to feed it to you. And if it's something that's engaging, because, as funny as memes and videos and stuff like that are, watching someone make music is way more captivating and fun and entertaining in a long-term, more valuable way. And I don't think that, I think human beings as human beings are always going to find joy in music. That's why we've had it since forever. People
the first caveman started whistling
and banging on the tree trunks and stuff. But I think that hopefully there undoubtedly will be another John Mayer. There will be another guy who's going to kind of lead the charge. I don't know when. I don't know how popular that person will be, but it will happen. And as long as people are playing the guitar, because Taylor Swift has probably caused so many people to pick up a guitar, or Chris Stapleton, or any of these guys Ed Sheeran, like all these guys who aren't necessarily virtuosos or I mean, they're all competent, talented musicians.
Yes.
But it's not like hearing the November Rain solo and going, man, that sounds cool, and I want to learn how to do that. It's a different thing.
Yeah. It's more about it's.
I have a niece.
Oh, okay.
Who's gonna be 15 at the end of next month, and I should ask her, like, what do you listen to
that made you want to play guitar?
Yeah, because
she wants to play, right?
She saw Stranger Things when they did the Metallica thing.
Terrific.
And she was like, wow. And she asked me, she's like, do you know who Metallica is? I'm like, yeah.
I know them.
Yeah, we actually hang out every week.
Do you make pedals for them?
But that was
a big moment.
I think there will always be moments kind of like that.
Yeah, but it happened to be a moment based on a TV show that was force feeding you nostalgia.
Well, yeah,
and that was part of the reason why Metallica was featured. It was because it was about something that took place in 1986, which is good though, because that's why I'm saying, can we just sell the past forever? If that's what it takes, and that's what you get into, people still play piano because they want to learn Beethoven, right?
Yeah.
So there's no different of wanting to play guitar because you want to learn Eddie, right? There's no difference, so that's okay. It's just like, can we keep keep chugging that along? Can we keep going? All right. Maybe there's nobody new that's going to reach those levels, but like, if we can keep get old heads alive and still sell Stevie Ray Vaughan pedals, then great. Right?
Oh, man.
But it is an interesting thing. I think that I appreciate that Slash sort of understood. He wasn't just like, why do the kids not want to be rock stars anymore?
Yeah.
Why do they want to play stadiums? Why are they not out there, killing it and, making it happen? It's like, it's good. I'm glad that he doesn't, like, because there's some people that say stuff like that. And you go
Slash is too plugged in to guitar space.
Yeah.
Like he learned about Chris Buck through Instagram.
Yeah.
And like he is aware of all the things. Like he is not the average old
head.
Yeah. Like doesn't know anything going on. He is he still really likes guitar.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
I did like it. So they asked him, like, in this interview, like, well, what new stuff are you listening to? He's like, well, I listen to new stuff from like older bands. Like he said, the new Black Crowes, the new Queens of the Stone Age, which it's like they're not new bands, but it's like at least those bands and a lot of bands are still releasing music that is all really good. It's just not nearly as popular as it used to be.
What would be, maybe to round out the end of this conversation, what newer music do you listen to that's guitar centric that we could tell the fine people? What are our listeners called?
The PPers?
The peepers? How about the peepers?
The peepers. I like that. That's new?
Yeah. Like new, like the last like 3 or 4 years.
That they came out with like their first records.
Or well,
it's hard. It's hard because like because like my brain doesn't like. I saw the date 2015 today, and in my head that was like 3 years ago. And Jeff's like, that was almost 10 years ago. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that funny how that works? So I'm trying to think about stuff that's like a newer band that I listen to. Oh, so I listen mostly like. What about you? You go first.
Well, I listen to.
I should have prepared that for.
Well, we didn't think about it. Yeah, I listen to a lot. Well, you listen to like Jason Isbell, and like his newer stuff is definitely carrying the torch of like guitars.
I mean that's.
But he's not
he's
not like a new artist per se, but
he's been releasing stuff since Drive By Truckers back.
But he didn't come into prominence in the global scale.
Well, and funny enough is that he just came out with his signature Red Eye guitar, a collector's edition, $21,999.
Yeah, $22K.
$22K
with tax and parking.
I was fortunate enough to get invited to the Gibson Garage for the unveiling of the guitar and a Q&A and performance from Jason, which was very cool. Shout out to my guy James over at Gibson. James. Thanks, bud. And it's funny. Jason said when he was talking about the model, he said, "Well, there's no rock stars anymore, so they're finally getting around to giving guys like me signature guitars," which I thought that was really funny. But it does show that like it's a different kind of like the profile of Jason as far as like in the space, isn't as high as it would have been if he was recording and putting out maybe even the same music 30 years ago or 35 years ago. But as far as influential guys who are playing a lot of guitar,
he's a tastemaker.
He's playing a lot of guitar and a lot of really good gear live, and all sounds really good. So yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of St. Vincent, who is a popular artist. Not as much guitar on her last couple records. The newest one actually is a lot more than the last few, but she sells a lot of signature guitars. I like Parquet Courts. They are a great band. They've been around like almost 15 years now, but a lot of guitars. Like it's like kind of post-punk kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But again, it's like hard for me to even know, like outside of the guys that we talk about all the time who endorse gear, like who's actually selling gear. But I listen to a lot of guitar music all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's Corey Wong, of course, and like man, doing huge performances. I listen to all my instrumental metal stuff.
You do.
Like Intervals. I love Arch Echo. Ollie Steele. Moray Pringle. Yeah. Which like I don't know what kind of guitar he's playing, but it sounds like a Strat. It sounds very Strat-like. Like those sort of guys are the ones that really keep me excited, and it's so ironic because I don't play guitar like they do, but I love the music that they make.
Yeah, it's really fun to listen to.
Yeah, because it's just like you can focus in and like really find so much.
I like listening to the Aristocrats for that reason.
Right.
Guthrie is bonkers.
Right.
But I'm never gonna like try to play like that.
No.
I mentioned them on a show before. They actually have a new record coming out Friday, Hermanos Gutierrez.
Oh, right.
It's two brothers, and it's instrumental guitar. It's almost like kind of like spaghetti western. Sorry, I'm getting a little spaghetti western soundtrack music is kind of the best way. It's like, they'd be at home doing some score for Quentin Tarantino or Robert Rodriguez. Terrific players, very tasteful. I love
the Guitar Brothers, right?
Yeah. And I love listening to that. And so that's not going to be popular, but as far as like I listen to it and it makes me want to play guitar, absolutely.
I think that there's always going to be stuff that's driving the instrument in the space, and this space is not dominated ever by. It's never been dominated by rock stars or the biggest names or anyone like that. Even it's not even driven by those people who are truly pursuing careers in music. It's driven by people who love playing music, regardless of what skill level or what scale you're playing at. That was true after Buddy Holly took the stage and made the Strat the most popular thing in the world to right now. But
excuse me.
But yeah, is the Rockstar dream dead?
Yeah,
probably.
But the most important part is selling stuff to you guys, so you can have fun and play music and enjoy yourselves like we do. And
express yourself,
and that's it. That's always been the goal, because trying to make rock stars, it's like there's not enough people out there to sustain anything on that level. It's always been about us plebs playing guitar, having a great time, and trying to get our wives to let us soundproof the basement.
Man, if I had a basement, it would be so soundproof.
I'd be soundproof it. I mean, even waterproof it.
Well, you should do that anyway.
I'm just buzzing. It's getting hot in here. I'm getting sweaty. The pits be screaming.
I can smell you. It's all right.
I mean, I smell terrific.
So
there you go. Was that it? Was that the show?
Yeah, I think so. But
That's
Matthew,
good.
What are you buying?
Nothing.
What are you selling?
I'm selling my PRS, dog.
Still.
I get it. It's not everybody. It's orange. Maybe not everybody's favorite color. It's kind of a different model than what people normally get.
Yours is more brown looking than orange.
It is more, but it'll sell eventually. I'm good. I need to, before the kids go to college, I need to move that stuff. That was like in my emergency funds.
Yeah,
like, I was like, I don't need to sell the guitar.
15 years or so before you gotta let that one go. By that point, it's going to be a collector's item.
I'm really excited because June's really smart, but I think Alex might be a little stupid. So, not in a bad way. Just in a maybe she won't go to college with, because that's expensive. 2 kids, jeez.
Oh yeah, I don't. That's like you got to get good grades, kid.
My joke is that June's smart enough that Alex will be okay no matter what, because she'll take care of her sister. No, she's not. She's 15 months old. I'm just playing.
Yeah, it's like she's. my dad, after I graduated, because I went to college in state, wasn't that expensive, but he paid my whole way through college. Thanks, Dad. And after I got my diploma, he did this. He went, let me see that, and did this. And he's like, that's a $50,000 piece of paper right there. Like, cool, thanks, Dad. He also said, when I said I'm going to get my degree in psychology, he's like, are you going to be able to read my mind? It's like, no, but given that statement, I think I probably can already.
I mean, 50,000 is pretty cheap to be able to do that.
I know.
That was a deal.
Anyway, I'm not.
You're good. You're good right now. Not trying to move anything.
Well, I'm always buying something, but I don't think I'm going to sell anything. All the stuff I was wanting to sell, I like it too much. Damn it.
Do you need to sell it for financial reasons?
Not really.
As I like,
it just would be nice.
all the time. Matthew Tim's signature line: I want to buy as much gear as possible without ruining my family.
Yeah,
that's the line. Are you going to ruin your family? No, then buy whatever you want.
My wife says, "Is this going to not let me be able to do the things that I want to do?"
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, then I can't do it. If the answer is no, then she's like, that's fine.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
I'll tell her about that new thing at some point.
Yes. Does she listen to this show?
I don't know.
You bought a guitar and you have not told your wife about it yet.
Her, it's fine.
It's fine.
It wasn't that expensive.
I remember I said that you could tell her it's my guitar. And
can't
then
do
Matthew
that. I can't lie.
Does she know when you're lying right away? Are you bad?
I don't normally lie.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretty good at it.
Give people something right now. Lie about something. That's a dumb request. Like, what are you gonna say?
I don't know. Just you guys. I hope you really like the Mjolnir V2. That's all I'm gonna say.
Don't what? Come on, man. That was a good lie.
Yeah,
that was good. That was good.
What's it?
Oh, we do have 2 new things coming out.
We have more than that.
3,
4.
4.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And they're all done. They're all done.
They're all pretty much.
What's not done?
Enclosures.
Well, I don't count that. I meant like the circuits are locked and loaded. The sound is perfected. We just got to finish some design stuff. Get the enclosures in. Man, I'm going Krusty LaRue over here. And get it out to the people. Okay, Richard Nixon.
That's what you sounded like.
That's a great reference. I love Richard Nixon references. Always get me. Every time.
All right. Okay. See you later, everybody.
Bye. No one's listening.